Where's all the pyramid players?
I think their matches are scheduled later, so...
Well, they took a lot of tables down.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning from Moscow. It's 10 a.m. here, and we are pretty much on schedule. Great to tell you that Jeremy Jones is here in the booth with us.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. We have a rematch here in the opening round of the final 32. That's a rematch of last year's final.
Yeah, and just to remind you, the last year's final went all the way to the hill.
Yeah, I remember. I was just about to say that I do remember. I watched it. Now, Alex took an early loss and then got stroked pretty well on the loser side. Had a little bit of a rough one last night to qualify in the last match, but got through.
Yeah, Niels played superbly on the way to this knockout stage, eliminating, not eliminating, but sending to the loser's side of the bracket Skylar Woodward, 8-5.
Yeah, and we have many matches on the outer tables on the webcams and the stream. So lots going on here in Moscow, and Alex Kazakis.
Some American players are featured there.
Yeah, Kazakis with our opening break, and he got a ball down, and he's got a nice shot on the 1. He can play it off the 4 if he needs to create angle getting on the 3, which you may see. The problem with that is where the 4 is going. I think he almost has to play this off the 4 to get a little closer to the 3 ball.
I think the worst result he can get here is just blocking the 3 with the 4 ball. Probably.
Yeah. Or if he had hit it thin, maybe the 3 goes into the 4 goes into the 3.
Yeah, correct.
But that was nice control there. Now he's got some serious issues with the 6-9. Not only it being covered up the 6, but the 5 being covered up a bit. Not so much to get to where he can pocket the 5, but be able to get nice position on it, what would be probably a 6-9 combination. So, a bit tricky in our opening rack. I think I would like to shoot the 3 and then shoot the 4 and bump the 10 out of the way and have the 5 in the side, I think. Now, Alex, I've said it before, I think one of the most improved players on the planet in the last probably 3 years. When I first met him some 4 and 5 years ago, I think he was 20% lower at least.
And he seems to be loving this very event because, he made it to the finals 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Well, he's one of those guys that's not going to vary too much, meaning he's not going to fall below his game very often.
Well, I guess, Jeremy, the only downfall I could note in Alex's game is probably he sometimes can dog it under pressure. At least it seems like so. And unfortunately, for Alex, he proved this to be right way too often, I think.
Well, and that happens, but that comes with maturity. Sometimes when you're the player that doesn't win, say you're not a Joshua Filler that hits the ground running in the pro scene, that it not only like he's trying to improve, but he's also getting used to pressure. So, but that's one good thing for Alex is if you keep putting yourself in that position, you're going to get better at it.
No doubt.
And he really played it tidy on the 5 there, and he got really nice on the 6-9 combo. Now the problem with this is if it's a little bit off angle, he's fairly full on it, so is the 6 going to fall to the top rail?
Yeah, that's a thing to keep in mind when playing position on combo shots. Just which side of the first ball of the combo you want the cue ball.
Yeah, but when the difficulty of the combo becomes more, you tend to want to make sure you get a little better on the combo because you want to ensure making the 9. A really nice control there and a really solid out here, it looks like, in the opening game. it's amazing because Greece has had some really great players, a lot of talent, and then Kazakis has climbed himself up to where he's the top player from Greece now.
Yeah, it used to be Nikos Economopoulos for quite a while, but then just Alex managed to get him on, and there are some other guys who also were playing here, and one of them was eliminated by Alex in the losers bracket.
Well, that shows you how far trying hard goes. No one, I mean, there's all these guys try hard, but no one tries any harder than the two guys we have at the table. You can keep up with the live scoring, and we'll also give you some scores as the match goes.
Yeah, sure, as long as our bracket gets updated. Just like right now. Joshua Filler gets the lead over Daniel Maceo, 2-0. Same scoreline is between Fedor Gorst and Skylar Woodward. Wow, these guys have some history behind them, like going all the way from the Derby City and then up to the World Pool Masters,
right?
Where just Woodward was too superior for Fedor back then.
Well, Fedor, like I said, I've been here a week and put in a lot of time at the pool room, and I'm sure weeks prior to that. Okay, there's that end rail break and a really nice speed on that as well. Laying the one up in the corner, the 4 gets around, really a nice starter and an easy position shot just to come to the opposite side rail.
And it's very helpful to have the 4 ball where it lies.
Right. That makes things, he can shoot the 4 from some distance, going around the 10, and he has a lot of open space to play the 5 in the same corner. Really the only position shot is going to most likely be from the 5 to the 6. He can play rail first here if he wants, or he can draw off the ball. He could just, that's how easy it was. He had a lot of options. And the game, you know, from when I played has changed. It's all about being super efficient with open tables. It's not so much, I mean, these guys carry a lot of knowledge, and all these guys do, but you don't see clusters near as often in our game. You don't see near as much rolling out. So it's, like I said, being super efficient with open tables. And that shows you how strong-minded a lot of these guys are as well, because I think most of the players would like everything to be a little more difficult. It's kind of how professionals work. They don't want it easy, but they also realize that that's how the game is a little bit more these days. And if things don't go your way, it's easy to get frustrated, but strong-minded.
Yeah, just the main thing is trying to stay positive no matter what.
Exactly.
And actually, this is one of the hardest things to accomplish.
Yeah, especially day in, day out.
All the negativity just tends to get into your mind, and very hard to get rid of it.
Yeah, we talk to amateurs all the time, helping them with their game, and staying confident and staying positive is a huge part of it, but it also, that lingers all the way up to the best players in the world. That's a nice speed control there. Even if he has to work the cue ball around, that's okay. You'd rather have this than overhit and be on the back rail or something like that. But he's kind of gotten in between with the 8 being there. It's not so easy to go around. You may end up seeing him let his stroke out and draw to the top rail and back up towards the 7. Just depends on how he wants to play it. He could shoot the 7 from some distance as well. Okay, he went ahead and went around the 8. So that shows a sign of comfort in my opinion.
Yeah, sure, because like in the very last match of the previous day, we had Maxim Dudanets shooting the same shot, and he missed it.
Yeah.
It was the 6 as well.
Yeah, well, that I thought we were watching that a little bit last night, and I think it was a long day. And not only that,
That's
Max,
for
he
sure.
had
That's
to
for sure.
he had to wait quite some time before playing that last match. You can get a bit stagnant.
Yeah, we were mentioning that with Max, that both players, both Maxim and Yanni, his opponent, for that match, they were tired. So right here, Niels has to come up with a follow shot. Or in my opinion, just follow it one rail.
I would too. Now this type of shot, when you're coming out 2 rails, you have to draw it so it could get going on you, meaning speed can get away from you a bit whenever you because what happens is you have to put energy into the cue ball to get it to draw. So if you put a bit too much, it can get going on you. I kind of like the top English shot a little bit more, but.
Well, actually, speaking about the draw in the previous shot, in case you hit it really, like I would say, flat or too low, well, you are bound to even get a scratch to the corner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but both of them are well prepared. 2 breaking runs to open our match here in the final 32.
Yeah, but this time, unlike last year, if it gets to double hill again, it will be Alex breaking. Because last year it was Niels running out.
Mm-hmm.
Very difficult run out it was, but it was victorious. And that was for the title. So Shane was square, 2-2 the same. Scoreline stays Tyler Steyer. Opens the lead versus Maxim Dudanets. And Billy Thorpe is trailing the guy from Vietnam, Duong Quoc Hoang.
3-2, yeah.
Yeah. We don't get the score of the match with Ralph and Ruslan involved.
It's, I think, still 0-0. Or no, 1-0, excuse me, maybe.
Well, it reads 0-0, correct. So this is the reason.
Our first big error, scratch on the break by Alex. Now, I wonder if he's really going to thread the needle here and try and get close to this 2 ball.
Well, actually, I think the space between the 10 and the 7 is quite open. To drift the cue ball there.
Yeah, but a lot of people may shoot the ball in the opposite corner and follow to the side rail, and then you come naturally towards the 2. Here you have to have a little better speed, like this. That's what I mean. That's why going that way is dangerous. If you shoot it to the other corner and you just hit the rail like where the chalk's at.
Of course, yes. Niels was crossing the position.
Yeah, exactly.
But, well, I think these guys kind of maneuver the cue ball precisely.
But if you play it where you're not crossing it, well, then you don't have to have so much precision. And you still get pretty close to the 2. So just, in my mind, a little bit just passed up on the correct option, maybe a little bit. Of course, his execution wasn't what he wanted.
Yeah, could this execution be a sign of like a little maybe being tense or
of course,
in the morning? Like.
And that's maybe why you don't go that route, because you recognize that it can get away from you on the slick felt. So a mistake on a scratch on the break, but another mistake followed right up. Nevertheless, he escaped with the jump cue. And there's that rule we were talking about yesterday. Maybe if you snooker yourself, you shouldn't be able to bring the jump cue out.
Yeah. Someone on the chat yesterday called that Danny D rule.
Danny D?
Yeah.
Danny D. Liberto.
Yeah.
Again, this is another one. Do you just come 1 rail across and bounce just above 2 rails, just above the 8? Or do you come with a little draw and try to get closer to the 7? Again, it's speed control. And that's another thing. He ended up nice, though. We have some of the pyramid players filtering in to get some practice before what would be probably maybe the final 16 or so in the tournaments.
No, this also I think might be last 32, just because their event was bigger from the very beginning.
Well, I know they lengthened the races to race to 5 yesterday, so I thought maybe the final 32 was yesterday starting out, because originally it was a race to 4.
Well, actually, I think you probably are right, because they still have about 16 or so tables, but they are still playing 2 divisions.
Right, the ladies and the men's.
Yeah, right. Last 2 balls of this rack for Niels Feijen.
And he's going to draw this ball, I think. He may float it, I don't know. Okay. I kind of like that better, even though you're going to be a hair above the 10.
Just a nice stand shot once again. We were talking about this before as well. Just these stand shots and mastering this technique will get you pretty far, I think.
Yeah, and it's a lot of people, when they say stun, they think automatically a little bit more power. And I try to preach to people it's a cleaner stun shot. It's a very precise stun shot. It's not so much,
well, actually,
a lot of power.
Myself, I tend to separate the stop shot and the stun shot, actually. So just to me, once again, like stun, maybe just coming from the name, it's like more of a very sound and crisp shot.
Right. Right, but
Whereas,
like that one,
yeah.
it was a cleaner stun. As you know, a lot of times people get to really overhitting stun shots because they think it's more about powering the cue ball. It's just a flatter cue ball is what it is.
Yeah, right. So there's a chance to extend the lead for Niels.
Yeah, and if the first break he had tells you anything, he missed those on the far side a little bit, but still
He's
pretty
much
good.
Okay, but watch out, the 1 ball.
Well,
Now shot.
I think he can bank it and bring the cue ball up table, just shooting away from it.
I can't tell the distance between the cue ball and the yellow one from our position. Well, I'm not sure about banking.
Yeah, because you can shoot away from it and still bank it, I believe. I think, anyways. Now, you have to be kind of familiar with this shot. I'm pretty familiar with it because of playing one pocket. Yeah, you can hold this bank up easily. And it sends the cue ball right towards the 2. The problem with the safety is he's so close to it, he can't. It's not easy to get behind the 10 or something like that. Can't really cut the 1 much to get to the side real quickly.
And once again, like you were saying before, probably on this shot, the ball will never hang.
Yeah, the angle tells you that it's very, very difficult to hang it anyways. You almost have to baby it to hang it.
Well, right now I think Niels is looking for some blockers.
Well, Sky Woodward has fallen down 4-0 now.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Federer is in stroke.
Well, I'm not sure anybody is breaking the balls better than Federer. Ruslan's breaking them very well, but still not as good as Federer.
Well, I think Federer has been trying to study the rack too much to me recently.
Oh, he's rolling out. This is surprising. In my opinion, this is surprising.
Well, just like I said, he was studying the row of blockers, and in the end he managed to find some.
That's another thing. The way the 10 ball breaks with the 1 going over the hole, it's always difficult to roll out. It's difficult to roll out in the pro level anyways.
Well, at the same time, it depends on the initial position of the cue ball. Like Shane, I think, was showing during the course of his instructionals, and I think one of the series was pretty much devoted to the 10-ball break. So just he was showing, like, if you are breaking from the spot, I think, the closer to the head spot you are, the more the tendency is for the 1 ball to come to the middle diamond of the short rail.
Right.
So
well, it's a mirror is what it is.
Yeah.
So if you're hitting it well and hitting it fully square, if you go over 6 inches it kind of mirrors that angle coming off the rack if you're hitting it well.
I think the main idea, like Shane was describing, is like you have to find some balance between pocketing one of the balls to the side pocket and at the same time driving, having the one ball going towards the corner.
Right.
Once again, in order to have the opening shot of the rack. Well, that's a pretty long jump shot if Alex was going to make it, and I think with the one ball sitting that close to the cushion, well, the cue ball might very well jump off the table.
Yeah, like you said, with him having to carry quite some distance over the 5 and 7. The one good thing is he has a pretty full hit on the 1. Not much cut, but can he get position? Even if he does make it, he could trap himself with the 3, 8, and 9 there. Yeah. I understand what he was feeling, that it was a hard thing to pass, but you got to recognize if you can really get position, if it's luck that is going to carry you to position in that spot. And now he's got to, if he can get all of the 2 ball, he's in an okay spot. He can bank the 2 around and possibly use the 5 and 7. If the 10's got him cut off on the 2 a bit, could be in trouble.
That's the only option he's got.
Yeah, it looks to me though the 10's got a piece of him cut off. Again, we're using the screen as much for our angles as okay. That was the problem. Yeah, a little fortune there.
Very fortunate. Oh, sorry guys, Kashi versus Al-Qaeda were not able to see the scoreboard at all, and apparently doesn't have any updates on the brackets, so just I think we can tell you the result as soon as these guys finish. Well, Niels is looking for some kick shot options, whether it's going to be 1 rail kick or 2 rail kick. Well, I like going 2 rails.
Yeah, this time you want to hit the bottom side of it and send the 2 up. Most of the time you almost always want to hit the top side or come across the top side of it. But this time is a bottom side kick, and don't baby it.
And you're looking for the full ball hit, just to drive the 2 ball away.
Yeah, that's why you didn't want to come across the top, because the 10 had you cut off from running the cue ball. So it's very rarely, but you got to recognize that. And he probably was going for the bottom, just miscalculation.
Well, I guess that's a good opportunity there, just to drive the cue ball towards that nasty cluster.
Well, I think he's going to try and run out. The 5 goes. I think he can make an option here in a moment once he gets on the 5 to see if he can get on the 7, because it certainly, I don't think it passes the 8 in the upper corner. That's good. That's a nice angle to come back down table near the spot for the 5. I think he bumped the 10 also going by, so now the 7 goes in the side pocket as well.
He brushed the 10 ball, just a little. Well, the 7 might go to the side, but I'm not so sure about that.
I think it does. The key here is stay off the rail so you can maneuver the cue ball. Don't come back 1 rail. You want to come straight down. Yeah, you don't want to fall on this rail or get flat. Yeah, it's close. It's close.
Managed to avoid the rail.
Does the 7-10 go on the opposite side? It wouldn't be an early winner, but you can continue the run. I would have to have a look at the 7-10 on the opposite side myself. It doesn't appear like it goes, but
only for a bank shot.
Now maybe the 7 goes by the 8 and 9. Maybe that's the position he's playing for. And he got a little off angle here, where if the 7's a little tight going to the pocket, could be missable, and he's got to move the cue ball. He's got a lot more angle here because he's close to it.
Well, he of course will use the 10.
I don't know. Rubbing the 10 could be dangerous, I think. I think I would try to stay clear of the 10.
Well, it seems like Alex is thinking the same way as you, Jeremy.
Yeah, just try and pinch the cue ball maybe. And just, you'll take a little more angle and a little more distance on the 8. But, yeah, like there. Just try and pinch it as much as you can. Meaning hit it with a soft draw when we say pinch. When the guys talk about pinching the cue ball, it's really trying to eliminate the angle with a lighter speed. And it gives the pocket a little bigger. It makes the pocket a little bit bigger.
It's interesting Niels doesn't get his chalk away with him, just leaving it on the table.
Well, I think that was probably an accident, but we had a discussion not long ago.
That's not the first time.
In America, see, we leave the chalk on the table sometimes, but
well, I mean, just recently it has become a kind of a pool etiquette at the big events. Like you just don't leave anything that belongs to you at the table because, like, it's not your inning,
right,
apparently.
Right, and there's so many different types of chalks used these days. Used to be there was just a couple different types, and we sometimes would share them or whatever. But now the guys very particular. Ruslan is down 2-1, I believe, and he just broke him perfect and got kissed in the corner with the cue ball.
Yeah, the score line in the brackets reached the same on 2-1 in favor of Ralph Suke. Yeah, Ruslan played a very nice match versus Max Heberle yesterday. They went hill-hill.
Yeah, actually I felt like Max should have won that match.
Yeah, they made some mistakes, both of them on the hill. But it was Max making the last one. The last mistake.
Oh my. And I wonder why he kind of punched the ball a little bit. He could have hit that ball much lighter and cleaner. Man, he made a really nice out there.
Wow, that's an early mistake, which can prove costly in the end.
Yeah, he's going to take a timeout, and I think that's a smart move.
Yes, just he needs to shake it off immediately.
Mm-hmm. He breaks the balls here in the 5th game, so he's got a chance to make up for it quickly and keep the heat on Niels.
Доброе утро, уважаемые участники соревнований. Мы приглашаем к столам на разминку Абрамов и Осипов. Пащинский Юрий, Слоповский Евгений, стол номер 38. Курьеушек, Филиппова Анастасия, Гульс Кристина, стол номер 29. Михайлова Дарья, Парижер Любовь, стол номер 30. Станова Анастасия, Перепечаева Екатерина, стол номер 33. Ходева Наталья, Нагула Ирина, стол номер 37.
Back live as the match goes on. Niels Feijen is 3-1 over Alex Kazakis. So I just posted the link to the brackets for you guys. Well, there's a safety battle going on. And I think Alex left a shot for Niels and a very good opportunity to duck behind the green 6. Well, of course, that's a delicate touch and the one won't travel too far, but I think the main goal here is to position the cue ball precisely. Well, unfortunately for Niels, he cannot see the full ball, only the left portion of it.
Well, if he can see the left portion, I think maybe play the one behind the 310 and go ahead and kiss into the 6 with the cue ball to slow the cue ball down. Something like that, I think. Oh, he played it thin, and what a nice hit. Nice shot there. He may have left a little bit of the one. We'll see. Sky Woodward down 6-1 with Federer shooting.
David Alcaide is also a little bit of a trouble because like I can't touch it. Gets a good lead over him.
Well, Albin Ocean also trails 4-1 to the kid we talked about earlier from.
Yeah, it was 1-4 and now just it reduced to 2-4, but still.
I really like the looks of that kid's game.
Well, maybe we should consider him as an option for one of the TV matches if he manages to go that far.
Yeah, one of the best strokes I've seen. Very effortless and long. Okay, this is another one of those you want to come across the top, not only to try and make it, maybe get some separation. Pretty fortunate there to cut him off the offensive shot, besides maybe a cross-corner bank, possibly.
Well, not sure about the position of this because I think making the bank requires a pretty solid and powerful stroke right here. Because to me, like the cue ball is a little bit gets a little bit wider angle, so just some force is required.
So he's thinking about maybe thinning the one, putting it behind the 3-9, and running the cue ball 2 rails to the other opposite side rail, something like that, maybe. If he can get it all the one, he'd probably put him up behind the 3-9, but.
Oh, can he avoid collision with the 6 then?
Yes, I think so. I think so. I think he'll come pretty clear of it and come up in between the middle and 3rd diamond. Okay, he played it full.
And with reverse English, I suppose.
Just to check the cue ball straight up the rail.
Well, gets the one nicely covered. I think, yeah, so that's a jump shot.
And he may call something here, but I think he's going to try and get some separation, bringing the cue ball all the way back down table off the top side of the 1.
Well, maybe calling the 6, probably.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe even the 1, really. Could bank the 1 off the bottom of the 6. And
well, on the first side, I think the half ball hit is going to send the cue ball pretty much towards the 2 and the 4, but at the same time, once again, the 1 ball is too close to the rail, and just hitting the jump shot on any kind of a cut here, I think could send the cue ball flying.
yeah.
Off the table.
Oh, he went for the bank. He's going to give up a shot on the 1. And a nice starter to get to the 2. Probably just come up 1 rail in between the 10 and 3, I would think he could try to check it with a little right English. But naturally, between the 10 and 3 gives you a nice angle on the 2 to come back over to get a little tidier on the 3. This is kind of where their perspective means a lot. Just 1 inch could change whether you try to go behind the 10 or if you come between the 10-3. Yeah, that's the shot that looked like it was. Did he get elevated? If he got elevated, he's not going to like that.
He's got to deal with some awkward bridging on his next visit.
Well, he doesn't look too unhappy, so I think he's okay. I think he's enough to the side of the 3 where he can get at the cue ball cleanly. Shane Van Boning up 5-4, I think.
Yeah, he's pretty all right. Shooting past the 3 with his cue stick. Now using some little bump on the 9 ball.
Yeah, and that'll clear a little more path for the 4 to the 6. Well, he got kind of straighter here. So I want you to watch his backhand here, Michael. We'll get a good view. Now, sometimes on the power draws, he doesn't do it, but watch how he releases the cue. Niels is one of the players that throws the cue. It actually comes out of his hand, and then he regrips it. But sometimes on the power draw, not so much.
So you mean kind of a slip stroke?
No, a slip stroke is whenever you go forward and you regrip before. He actually lets it go where the cue comes out of his hand.
I see, yeah.
But there he didn't do it again. One of the few shots he doesn't do it is on the more of the long distance draws. But any of the stun shots, the little follow shots, he lets the cue go. It's really a nice way to play, and more people do it than you think, because you get to extend through the cue without dropping the elbow.
At times I used to hold the cue so light that it came out of my grip hand.
Yeah, like right here, this shot. Watch his backhand. See, that one was only about an inch, but certain shots he goes much further. I've talked to him about it, and I do the same thing, and I played for a good 5 or 6 years without even knowing I did that until somebody back home informed me of it.
It is the way it is supposed to be, like playing natural.
Right. But I talked to him about it too, and he wasn't very aware of it, but he does it. And more players do it than you think. I think it's a great technique. Now, it offers a little bit more power, which maybe isn't so needed in today's game with the conditions we play. But if you grew up playing on old felt, 25 years ago, exactly, you needed that power. Okay, you put the 9 in the wrong spot, he'll correct that.
Well, sometimes we get some balls placed wrong in the rack, not very often, and just the match participants don't recognize it and give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Well, here we're playing a random, which I like. Some rules in 10 ball, they have the 2 and 3 on the corners, and I just kind of feel with the players being so good, anytime you set the balls in the same place all the time, they're going to figure out ways to make it to an advantage for themselves.
Sure, it takes too much from the game.
Oh, he missed one there. He didn't make one on the break, so an opening now for Alex, even though he doesn't have an offensive shot,
I'm not
think.
sure we have seen a dry break from Niels.
No, I talked to him about it yesterday after his win over Skyler, and he was very happy with his results, and he's got the mentality of a little bit the older guys. As long as I get one down, I feel pretty good. Oh, maybe he does have the one in the corner because he's getting down quickly. Oh,
that's a safety.
Okay.
Marries the cue ball to the 9.
Yeah, and I think he may look at going by the 6. There's not a big ball there, but this type of kick shot here, when it's so tight, it's either feast or famine, meaning you're not going to get much of a safety result. If he kicked by the 6 one rail, he could come across the top of the 1. A lot of good things could happen. This one here, most likely he's either going to make it or probably sell out a shot. Unless he feels like he can bend the ball and put some speed on it, and that's what he's doing. That's the reason he's kicking this way, because he feels like he can put some speed on it and some good things may happen.
And they actually did happen. I mean, just the shot on the one, if Alex decides to go for the pocket, it is not so easy to make, first of all, and then just to return back for the blue too.
Yeah, really the only guaranteed path to the 2 is if he wanted to put this with low inside and come 3 rails in between the 6-4 around for the 2 on the side. That's the only clean path.
And that's a
difficult shot,
very
though.
difficult shot, correct. Is Max up 3-2?
He's up 3-2. He sure is.
Okay.
We worked on his break last night, and I think that's all he was missing. He's playing really solid pool right now.
I wonder if it was you offering him to make this kind of workout.
Yeah.
Because
we stuck around for about 45 minutes.
It like, was you helping him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Max is a very solid when it comes to cueing, a very straight stroke. So it doesn't take much to get him, pretty much just telling him things. You don't really have to show him much.
Oh, he's been pretty long in the business.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what a great shot. And that's the problem with it, like you talked about. Not only he made a great shot, but the path to the 2 wasn't so easy. And the thing is, I thought he might recognize that, hey, if I do get by the 9, can I get by the 5 as well? Well, Federer made quick work of Sky, and the way Federer's breaking the balls and the way he's playing, it doesn't take much to get beat quickly by the young man. Billy Thorpe trailing 7-5, but at the table. Joshua Filler up 6-4.
Billy's opponent from Vietnam is on the hill.
Yeah, Vietnam has come a long ways. I'll tell you, the first time I saw them guys play early in the World Championships, I believe around 2004, maybe. The country had some work to do as far as 9-ball pool, or any type of rotation pool, but now they have several really top players or great players.
Yeah, Asian region overall has got so much talent when it comes to cue sports.
And that goes from proper training. And really probably, and I'm not sure why, you may know why better, but, oh, that's a big miss on an easy safety, really. But I'm surprised there are not more of the Asian countries here. I know the China Open just finished, which was a long tournament.
I'm as puzzled as you are.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's a long travel for them.
No, I think it's still a good 8-hour flight from China, but.
And after all, the Kremlin Cup, the pool part of the tournament is in the world rankings, so there's a good chance to get some.
Yeah, and Moscow is a good shooting. And Moscow is a lovely city.
Maybe I should just ask this question to one of the guys responsible for running the event. Just maybe all they need is just to try to send some invitations or something.
Maybe. But I was here last year, and it was the same situation, really. Just a few Asian players, and not from the most dominant countries either. Uh-oh. How did he thread the needle perfectly?
I guess he did.
I think he did.
Well, actually, in the past, I think all these guys representing Vietnam or like whichever Asian country they, I suppose, were even living here in Moscow or like in surroundings.
Yeah, not much travel.
Yeah, right now we have, I think, some players from Hong Kong, which is nice. I think at least 3 of them.
I was impressed with,
Robbie Capito.
well, just some of the he's Filipino descent, but just at the World Cup of Pool, China carried 2 teams from mainland China and then the Hong Kong team, and I was impressed with really the Hong Kong team a lot, just because I wasn't so familiar with them. A couple of young kids that are going to have a bright future in this game.
Yeah, sure. When we had the Junior Worlds here in Moscow 2 years in a row, just one of the finals featured 2 Hong Kong players. Robbie Capito being one of them, and actually he lost to the other guy.
Well, he's going to be upset about that because he had a big area to get position, and not saying he can't cut the 5, but he's going to have to direct the cue ball nicely. Probably a couple rails for the 6 on the side.
Oh, do you like a bank shot?
No, I think he's cutting this for sure. If he goes offensive, I mean. Like there are 2 rails, I think a high right spin. The problem here is with the slick cloth tendency here on this type of shot with the lattice, you need a little spin is maybe to hit it thick. Yeah, he's going to cut that ball. Actually, a kid from the Virgin Islands, Mikhail Parrish, he came to the house this summer and we trained for some 8 days, I guess. Good kid too, who won the Junior Worlds last year.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so
That was totally uncalled for. I mean, the contact on the 6.
down 4-1 though. If he goes ahead and gets out here, and he's got some issues because the 7 doesn't pass the 8, and he's too thin on the 6 to hold. So he's either got to go up and down the table, or apply a lot of side spin, maybe to carry him into the 7 or the 8.
Well, the side pocket is there for the 7, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think he can ease this in. I think he's got to go up and down. So a lot of times when you miss this, you'll hit it thick into the pocket. Just get a little heavy contact. Oh, he did ease it with a little inside spin.
And probably there was some part of a heavy contact you mentioned.
Yeah. But at that speed, he really made the pocket wide.
Well, Kachi is up only 1 rack right now.
Billy Thorpe's in a lot of trouble, down 7-5, and the man from Vietnam is at the table. He's got the 6, 7, 8, 9 left.
Well, it looks like Kazakis.
Wow. Just struggling with the cue ball today.
I was just going to say that it looks like he managed to recompose himself during this little break after the big mistake on the 10 ball, and here we go. We have another one.
Well, I've watched a few of his matches, and we saw one the other day against Billy Thorpe. He struggled with the 10 a.m. matches. He struggled with the early matches this week. He obviously regrouped after that loss with Billy and played a lot of solid matches to get through to the final 32, but
Well, of course, we players are all different, and we all have our own preference for the time to play.
yeah, actually, believe it or not, my wife would probably be astounded if she heard this, but back when I played all the time, I loved the early matches, actually. Oh, he missed it altogether. And that was the deflection there. He was trying to cut it with a hair of inside English just to make sure he didn't scratch.
Didn't leave anything easy for Niels.
No. And this is 50-50. This is the one, if you like the cut, that's okay. If you like the bank, it's okay.
Well, when it comes to the cut, it is almost as tough as a spot shot.
And I think Alex's extension there may have gotten him because he was putting a hair right English on it, right? And then whenever you add the weight to the extension,
and maybe also
it deflects a little more.
Maybe also he had to use the thicker part of the shaft.
Right, on his hand, yeah.
Reach, yeah. Which every time it feels unnatural.
Okay, he's elected to cut the ball.
Well, Niels knows that's a great chance.
He's hit it thick as well. He's going to get fortunate as far as it caught the point just right. Really left it tough.
Yes, I think you're right saying about the fortune, because on these kinds of shots, I think you should try to overcut it.
Yeah,
to make
to open the pocket,
yes,
right.
I mean, if you miss, the ball tends to stay where it is right now. But if you undercut it, the probability is very low.
Well, I'm surprised he spun the ball with outside English as far as Niels. I thought he would flat cut it. It's funny, Alex was practicing this shot earlier, edging the side of the ball. It's just a tough shot. And I've seen some of the greatest players, the one that comes to mind, Efren Reyes, actually kick at that 10 ball rather than edge it, trying to make it just one rail. It's a very difficult shot trying to edge it. You sell out a lot without any chance to win. You understand? Without any chance to win because you're not trying to make it.
In order to kick it, I think you prefer it as close to the cushion as possible.
Yeah. So now 5-1.
Oh, very nice shot by Niels flying on this 10 ball.
Shane Van Boning up 7-4 and shooting at the 6.
Actually, if we review these two big mistakes by the Greek, the score line could have been easily 3-2.
Yeah, and that scratch on the break.
In his favor, yeah.
And the scratch on the break that he didn't get kissed in either. He just scratched. Billy Thorpe has been eliminated. So 2 Americans down here early. Oh, he hit those great. He hit those great. And he got a nice shot on the 3. Making 3 balls on the break. So this is one to at least get you regrouped a little bit. A nice starter on the 3. Not too many problems. The 6 is near the 7. The 8 over the side.
Albin Ocean is close to being on the brink of elimination.
Well, I'll tell you,
Serbian junior.
I like the way that kid cues the ball.
We all know you have a great eye on all these stuff like fundamentals and the level of play.
Well, the thing about fundamentals is that where it helps you the most is when pressure is on, because the better the fundamental, the more room for error you have, and we all tend to occasionally mishit the cue ball when pressure is on. So when the fundamental is high, you have a lot more room for a little bit of error cueing the ball.
And I guess this is the reason that Johan Rausing is the big proponent of the fundamentals.
Yes.
Of solid and strong fundamentals. Because this is you mentioned, the thing you can rely on when nothing else works.
Yeah. And like I said, when everyone's hitting the cue ball right, all these guys have good enough fundamentals. But whenever things go a little awry is whenever it really shows up, in my opinion anyways. So a nice, easy one to get back on the board. Now we can't take anything for granted. There was a 10 ball missed by Alex that is, you might not see that again for a decade.
Well, hopefully we won't.
Tyler Starr, I believe, is up 6-2 over Maximum Dudedic. Been watching that a bit, and Tyler's played pretty solid. Maxim really played his game. Had a lot of misses, just like right there on an opening easy 1 ball.
Oh, nice run out by Alex. Break and run. So I think Shane has won.
Yes. So the way the draw is going today, it's going to be 10 and 12 with a little break for the guys that are remaining to get a bite or whatever they like to do, and then back at 4 and 6, and then tomorrow will be the final.
Well, the schedule reads like 12
for the final tomorrow.
Yeah, Moscow time, but I'm not sure whether they are going to change it or not. Let me check.
Okay, he hit those like he wanted. That's the speed he wants. The 7 going to get in the way. It doesn't appear so. Now the 9 may have blocked the pocket on the 5 a bit, but that's okay.
The final is scheduled to 12:30.
And it's a little longer race, I believe, correct? Race to 10?
Well, so
oh,
far,
no, I think last year it was 8.
It was the same.
Yeah, it was 8 because it went 8-7, yeah.
I'm not sure they're going to change it.
Yeah, that's correct. I remember it being an 8-7 final score last year.
It used to be like that, the way you said before, like maybe extending it to 1 more rack.
That's a little light with the cue ball. No, it's okay. That's okay. He can check it with a hair of English just to come in between the 6 and 5. I think, anyways. Yeah, he
looks
can.
Like almost the same shot Alex was shooting on the 5 to the opposite corner.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't overhit it, I think going to that rail, he's just got to float past in between the 6 and 5, I believe, anyways. Again, these guys, we talk about American football. They call it a game of inches. If American football is a game of inches, what is pool? It just changes ever so slightly. But like again, if he doesn't overhit it, he may even cannon into the 6. But if he hits it light, I think he goes right in between the 6 and 5 like that.
Yeah, right. Well, I was always thinking that American football is a game of like feet.
Yeah. But well, they call it that.
To measuring the field and the tries.
Right. Well, they're referencing first downs, I believe. So.
Well, Alex Pesele is on the hill versus Albin Aushan, and Albin has just left him a shot.
Yeah, and for people that love pool and love the young guns, I think that's a name you gotta pay attention to. Oh, wow. Okay, so a little opening here. Big opening with Alex having the break next. If he gets out here 5-3, he could break and run to make it 5-4.
Yeah, some shade of light for the Greek.
Especially after what you might think could be the scoreline could be way worse than what it is actually at 5-2 with the mistakes we've seen from Alex.
Very true.
That's perfect speed there. And Tyler Steyer again with ball in hand, up 7-2. So I wonder if that late night kind of got to Maxim today, because I've been keeping an eye on that match, and he's had quite a few mistakes.
Well, Daniel Maciel, the Polish junior, is trying to fight back versus Joshua Filler, trading only 5 racks to 7. And it is 3 apiece between Ruslan Chinakov and Ralph Suke.
Yeah, and the balls have gotten tied up in that match a lot. There's been a lot of tactical battles.
Also, Max Eberle is in the lead.
What is that? 4 to 2?
3 to 2, I think. Still.
3 to 2. Nah, I don't think it's been updated then, because I believe Max has 4.
Yeah, all right. So very important shot here for Alex. No room for error.
Yeah, he's had 2 misses on the 10 already. So very impressed with this entire complex. All the stadiums and the soccer fields and just everything. How big is this complex? It's huge, huh?
Well,
This entire area, with all the sports stuff and the park and.
I'm not sure about like how many square kilometers, but at least I guess there are like
10 city blocks or something, 20 city blocks.
Like 10 different venues. Like
Yeah.
they have an Olympic pool, of course, once again being reconstructed before the World Cup FIFA.
And I'm guessing from the scoreboard up there, they use this for a lot of hockey as well, correct?
Yeah, of course, this venue is used for, I think, basketball, but hockey mainly.
Yeah.
Ice hockey, yeah. Because you have the word period over there.
Yeah, I see it, and the penalty and all that.
Yeah, you have an eye on everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, mainly watching these pool balls, but I went over and watched the kids train in the soccer, and I was super impressed. Our kids play a lot of American football back home, so we're near the fields are near the soccer fields. So I watched the kids train over there, but it's nothing as intense as what it is
really?
here. Yeah, and I'm sure it is in certain areas of the soccer, but back home, but. It looks like pretty official training next door on those football fields. And they go all day. They start in the morning with the adults, then they go to the kids after they get out of school, and then they go back to the adults.
They have very nice soccer fields here, artificial grass.
Yeah, I watched it, yeah.
Yeah, just the majority of schools rent them, just prefer to play there. Very nice rack for Alex Kazakis.
And this is what I was talking about as far as that mistake by Niels. If he could follow this up with a break and run, he can kind of almost wipe away all those early mistakes at 5 to 4. Put a lot of pressure back on our defending champion.
Well, it was Alex winning this event only 3 years ago.
He has definitely gotten the most rubles out of this event in the last 3 years.
Yeah, sure. And this year he's still in contention for the Mosconi Cup Team Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs those ranking points. And just once again, the Kremlin Cup is a world ranking event for 3 years in a row.
And we talked about it yesterday, that one difficult job that Marcus Shimon is going to have with those 2 wild card picks. Funny little shot. The 7's pretty deep. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure he can use any rail first shot on this ball.
No, not with control anyways. So he's drawing this, so he wants to play from above, and I'm curious to see how he comes out of that pocket. Okay, he's going to draw straight out, it appears. He doesn't want to fool with that corner. The ball's so deep, he doesn't want to catch the corner with the cue ball coming out on a thinner hit. So this will be a draw stroke somewhat on the path he's on now. The key to this is to trust the stroke. You're going to roll into position. Don't try to like zing it back 100 miles an hour. The ball rolls out nicely on these tables. So.
You know, on shots like these, it seems as if the object ball doesn't have enough ground underneath just to grab on. makes you think like you need a more powerful stroke
Yeah.
just to get that cue ball action.
But you're going to have a nice full hit, so it's going to come. Okay, that should work, I think. A little thin, and he's going to be using the bridge most
Yes,
likely.
Yes, and of course stretching all the way over the 10 ball.
And again, we'll see if the side spin gets to him with the deflection, using a little bit more weight with the extension. I'd like to hit this with a natural ball.
Well, once again, do remember his last shot with the extension on.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't go that good.
I'd like to cut this a little more natural and just come up on the side rail, and instead of coming across the line using a lot of right English. Again, if you use the right English, you could throw into the ball and catch this 8 a little thick. Okay, that's what he did. He played it more natural, and I think that's a good decision.
Great shot. Great position play.
Now we're going to be 5-4 after 5-1, so 3 in a row.
Well, we got a question on the chat. JJ, what do you expect of Russia-USA match coming soon?
Well, I expect a tight one for sure. I don't think there's going to be any runaway. I expect both teams to perform well also, but I do like our chances. I think we've got the best player on the planet on our team.
Max Eberle.
Well, Max is playing solid as well, and we'll get to certainly see Max in the heat of battle there, playing in the Dream Challenge.
Isn't that Wu Chachin or maybe Kopini being the best player at the planet right now?
Well, that's by the rankings, of course, and you can't deny those rankings. And those guys are.
No, I'm not talking,
did we
about
get
the rankings.
Well, I'm pretty sure that if any of those guys wanted to play a head-up match, SVB would accommodate him. He sure likes those races to 100.
By the way, after him beating Jason Shaw recently, I've heard he agreed to get the challenge versus Chan Junling.
Yes, he did. Yeah,
but for some quite, I would say, like a thick.
Yeah, a lot of stakes.
Thick roll of cash.
Yeah, a heavy roll of quarters. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so what he's looking at here is, can he do something with the 7 while he's shooting this 2 ball? Can he draw off the 7 and get to the 3?
Well, I guess he's got enough of the pocket to avoid the contact on the 7 if he needs to.
Well, he can certainly do that, but I'm saying he wants to maybe do 2 things with it, because the 7 is a funny position, especially where the 6 is. He's got to come all the way around the table, even if it does go. So we'll see if he tries to contact it. He didn't.
Well, I guess the 7 is pretty much available to the opposite corner, opposite to the 6.
Is it?
Where the 6 lies, I guess so.
Is it? Okay. Well, if it goes to both corners, he's all right. The 3 will be gone later
Maybe
on.
we
So
have
position.
An overall overhead view.
Okay, yeah. There's no reason to. From our booth view, it's hard to tell sometimes, but there, yeah, he's got definitely where the 6 lays. It goes there as well. So this is the shot here. Can he get past everything, or does he have to pound 2 rails to get to the 4? Okay, he's queuing to draw it.
I like the 2 rails draw.
Well, if he's full enough, he's just going to draw. Okay. That's a nice tempo.
Because just once again, that zigzag shot, it brings you all the way down the position zone. Just after the second cushion, the cue ball just enters this area and goes ahead. That means you have some room for error in regard with the speed.
Quite a few matches have ended here in our final 32. Okay, so that's perfect to come 2 rails into a big area. Now he'll want to gain some angle to go 3 rails around from the 6 to the 7. Kind of where the cue ball on that line it's on now. I think the key here is to come a little tighter, maybe. But I mean, really, this is just controlling the speed is all. So it shouldn't be a big deal for these guys. That's real nice. That's going to get there. The only thing he doesn't really want is straight in. He could draw back for the 8 in the side, but he'd rather have that little angle to bounce out for the 8 in the corner.
Yeah, that makes things so much simpler.
Max Eberle is up 5-3. We've got 2 Americans that have gotten into the final 16 and 2 that haven't. Ooh, really cheated the pocket there.
Stop shot on the 8 probably. Oh, he's got some angle. And a little run through for good position on the last ball of the rack.
Yeah, I wanted to make up for that miss on the 5 ball that really opened the door for Alex and got him back in this match. (4-4) with Ralph and Ruslan.
Are you sure about for Ruslan? Like,
Well, the screen says 4-4. I can see the computer.
Yeah, I see.
Ruiz Sanchez ahead 5-4 over Nick Malai.
And the 2 juniors are in the battle. Mickey Krause from Denmark and Ilya Nikolayanov from Russia. The Russian is trailing 6-7, I think.
Kaji just missed an easy 7 ball. Ahead 5-4 over David Alcade.
That's unusual from the Albanian.
The man I'm impressed with, and I don't really know him, I watched him yesterday, you would know him, from Finland, that's at the table in the black back there on table 9. He's playing a Polish player.
Mm-hmm.
Really was impressed with his game.
We had Kim Laaksonen.
And I'm, he's not like, the top player, but.
Well, actually, he's from Turkey. This is Saki
okay.
Kanatlar.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought someone told me Turkey yesterday, but then I asked earlier this morning about him, and someone said he's Finnish. I was like, I mean, he doesn't appear Finnish, of course, but.
Yeah, sure.
But nationalities, you never know. But, when I first watched him, I was, well, okay, let's see how he plays. And then,
well, he got a pretty easy draw in the little bracket.
Yeah, but he still played well.
Yeah,
He's really played well.
Not sure who sent him to the B side.
He beat really the top-rated Polish player on the winner's side early.
Yeah, right. The Hill Mateusz Negowski, the former winner of the Kremlin Cup, and he lost to the guy from Vietnam.
Well, that guy plays solid.
Who eliminated Bille and advanced to the last 16 versus Fedor Gorst.
Well, we have a Russian that just advanced, Konstantin Stepanov. And I always liked Konstantin's game, and he took some time off from professional pool. But
for any reason, he failed to get some run at this obviously home event for him. Like the best he did was 2013. He made it to the finals where he lost to Thorsten Homan, 7-9.
Yeah, but he was playing a lot around the world for some time, and then I didn't see him for many years. I know he's a family man, so.
And also, I think it was his decision to pay more attention to educating players recently than
Right.
playing himself. So just seeing him still staying in the business is very good.
Yeah, the year I won,
Given he doesn't spend that many hours, doesn't put that many hours into his own practice.
the year I won the U.S. Open, I played him in the second round, and I didn't know him then, and I played an exceptional match against him. But then I went on to keep watching him play through the tournament, and I was very, very impressed. Because at that time, the only Russian player I really knew was Staliv.
Yeah. So Alex got to have a deep draw shot to make it all the way back to the 3.
And he's got to get by the 9, but if he overhits and gets up underneath the 3, he could cut off his run. Okay, that's perfect, I believe. And Ralph Souquet keeping the pressure on Ruslan. It looks like he's got an open table to get up 5-4.
Well, I think Ralph Souquet needs those Mosconi ranking points as much as Ruslan does.
Yeah, and Ralph is timeless, isn't he? Just keeps doing it.
Yeah, that's great. I once was asking him, only jokingly, of course, like when we are going to see you at the European Championships for seniors, and he laughed in reply and said, "Hopefully never."
Right.
And like, I'm happy actually for Ralph that this year he managed to get some decent results, and just his game seems to be up as compared to probably last year. So he's back in the European rankings. He's pretty high seated.
Well, the surprising one to me is the Albin being so low in the rankings this year. He's just, not only has he got all the skills, great shot maker, but he's so solid playing the game that.
Well, once again, you mentioned that he's a family man also.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the majority of both good and maybe like kind of negative things for the pool players nowadays, they come from the family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if everything is good there, the feeling good, the playing good, nothing to be bothered about. But if it is the opposite, you are done.
Right. Oh yeah, I know. Which, I do a lot more work now than I do playing. So, but yeah, it's the same case. Well, again, after some early mistakes, now Alex doing everything he can to keep the heat on Niels.
Yeah, he might be a little bit too straight on the 8 here, but a nice draw. Drawing only a diamond, maybe length back to the 9, sends him okay.
And with the template, we get the 10 around the spot a lot. So a lot of that is just don't panic, meaning you can handle angles on the ball before the 10 a lot because the 10 is so available. It doesn't get up on the side rails a lot. It doesn't get on the back rail a lot.
Well, I think it is supposed to be like that, even if you use the common triangle with the rotational games, like for the 9 and 10 staying there in the reckon area.
Yeah, not saying it doesn't get, it's supposed to move a lot, but it doesn't get kissed around a lot either. So you don't see that much variety on what would be the money ball.
So it's 5-6, and Niels breaking, trying to hold the lead and get on the hill.
Seven back there, table number 9 between
Between
Turkish
Saki
champion and
Konrad Justicin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Juszczyszyn actually is one of the Polish leaders right now. I don't know if you remember, but he won the American straight pool.
Mm.
I think maybe a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that tournament's coming up again right before the international. Now, is the 3 going to get in the way? That ball has consistently come up and almost covered up the 1 many times in this match, but every time it's fell short, it appears. The problem is that the 2 doesn't pass the 9, and the 1's a little thin, so he can't really come backwards with the cue ball. He has to probably go forwards 3 rails some type of way, either playing a 2-9 combination or safety on the 2.
Well, the 2-9 combo is there.
Yeah, and the 9's not far from the hole. Some distance between the 2-9. It's just a matter if you gather a real nice position. He's got plenty of angle on the 1, so moving 3 rails, he doesn't really have to hit it with a ton of speed. Just a little bit of side spin.
Oh, needs that side spin to avoid the corner pocket stretch, first of all.
That looks perfect, actually.
Yeah, playing for the combo, obviously.
Well, a little short, so he's going to have to cut the 2 a little bit. Definitely a missable ball here.
And the cue ball is going to drift towards the short cushion.
Yeah, and
Towards the foot rail.
he's looking to see, should I shoot this combination or is the safety really the play?
Another Polish guy, Wojciech Szewczyk, he is down 4-6.
And Kachi, after missing that really routine 7 ball, up 5-4, now trailing 6-5. He's going to roll this combination. Did he call it? I'm not so sure he called the 9. He did, okay. And a great shot. And that's one thing that pros really are so good at, not so much making the combination, of course, but he looked at it long and hard and decided what was the correct way to play it. That way he can gain position, even though it may not be the most favorable way to shoot the combination, rolling it, but it's the correct way to shoot it. And that's what really kind of separates some of the players, I think, is some of the players will say to themselves, well, I don't want to miss, so let me shoot it the most comfortable way, and then you maybe don't gain position on the 2.
You mean just his main focus was trying to control the 2 ball?
Right. Well, the overall way, like he took a long time looking at it, saying to himself, all right, well, if I shoot it hard, I might not get position. But if I shoot it rolling it, it may be a little tougher to make overall, or not as good a way to feeling to shoot it, but it's the correct way to shoot it.
Yeah, that's a very nice insight, Jeremy.
It's the way to really improve your game. Okay, he's got a choice here. He can kind of pinch the cue ball and stay near the side, or he's got enough angle to really kind of bang the cue ball out, you know, somewhat where it's at now. Looks like he's going to take a little bit more simple route, you might say. Key to this is still don't underhit. You want to come off the rail quite a bit. Yeah, there you go.
He's got the angle to go to the short cushion once again.
Yeah, and like
three rails forward.
And like right there, for instance, a big thought process is there's nothing wrong with making a cinch decision, meaning making the shot more simple on you, but don't make a cinch stroke. Make a committed stroke. Okay, so this is watch the backhand here. Watch how much he throws the cue. See that?
Yeah, like maybe
the stun shot. He goes 5 inches probably.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
But it's a great way to get extension through the cue ball without the elbow dropping. That way the plane of the cue doesn't change, and you actually keep nice and accurate on the hit of the cue ball.
This elbow drop is another technique, and
Well, the elbow drop, there's an argument there. I mean, I think certain shots,
I think
it helps.
Johan is the one who just
He promotes it.
yeah, kind of.
Right, but it is not for every shot, though. It's more for certain types of
And,
shots.
to me, this is definitely not for the beginners, because
Yeah.
like having two moving parts of your shooting arm is never good. Just first of all, try to develop control over like your elbow first.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you teach the elbow drop, a lot of it, what you're trying to do is promote it not happening early. So you learn when it should happen, which is after the contact as the follow through is going through. So
Yeah, but
that way our
those-
tip stays accurate.
Those players utilizing the elbow drop, they look like to be the smoothest. Like just look at the way Ruslan is shooting.
Yes, yes.
And
Well,
he's got that long extension and the follow through.
Oh, he's a long guy, too,
Through
so-
the cue ball, right?
but I still believe, I mean, don't get me wrong, me and Johan are a team on things, and we agree. Actually, we had a lot of the same thoughts about fundamentals prior to getting together, but I still think when it comes to the elbow drop, it's not for every player. I
Yeah,
think there are differences for
definitely, yeah.
every player. So whether it be body types, their tempo, length of stroke, whatever it may be, there's certain things that change it from one to another. And now, at the worst time, Alex has gotten snookered.
I hope our players won't need to use the mechanical bridge any longer. I'm not sure you can see it down there, but it's broken right now.
Well, was that maximum due to its opponent last night? Some frustration, maybe? Let it out on the
No,
bridge?
The guys, I think,
Working?
Yeah, they were using it already in the match.
Oh, wow.
I think one of them maybe just dropped it in
yeah.
frustration, or just stepped over because it was supposed to be hanging
Right.
under
Where
the
do you
table.
roll out to here? Especially with the 9 hanging as well. You can't roll out to the bottom rail. The 1-9 bank is just too easy. You might roll out and make the 9, maybe, but then you're gonna get snookered down table somehow. Maybe even another bank with a two-way shot back behind the 2 for position. So
What about making the 9 a rail first for the push out and just sending the cue ball all the way around towards the 8?
for a kick or something, maybe.
Yeah.
Huh.
Just to eliminate that option of making.
Well, that's what I was saying. Maybe
yeah,
you roll
yeah,
out
yeah.
on the 9 and put him on the back rail. You're going to get snookered, though, is the problem. Can he roll out and make the 1? Can he shoot the 3 into the 1 and roll the cue ball forward and leave a real tough 2-8 combination? Or is it just too easy, the 8?
Well, the combo push out, he could just very well hang the 1 and leave a shot.
Yes, but I mean, it's going to be difficult no matter what. I mean, he's going to have to roll out
Yeah, true.
to something difficult anyway, so.
Well, it is Konrad Justishin shooting the 9. Only 2 ball left there, playing the hill.
Well, I'll tell you, that just shows you how solid that man from Turkey plays. It's weird, you just sometimes you're at a tournament, you find yourself watching somebody you don't know, and then they kind of impress you, and you watch them a little bit more, and you watch them a little bit more, because you look at him, the stature, shorter man, haven't seen him before, so I was kind of wondering how he played, and I watched him a lot yesterday, and I was very impressed.
Well, we got a question in the chat about the mechanics. Aren't the mechanics dictated by the proportions and lengths of the forearm and upper arm?
I mean, possibly, I guess, but we've seen. Well, that was a bit surprising. Of course, he wanted to hit it full. He wanted to hit that 1 full, but yes, but also it's kind of like we said before. I've always said it seems like the big guys always have the smoother strokes because they get to use a little more length. They have a little more length in their in their build, so they gain a little easier, effortless power. And maybe I'm not smart enough for that question right there, or wise enough. Maybe that's it. Better word.
You are too modest.
Okay, I think he may play a rail first shot here, maybe? Or is he just going to pop it out there? If he plays rail first and gets to the backside of the 10, yeah, that's what I like, rail first here, it looks like to me. Because he's got so much room to play the 2-6 or the 2-9. There's no reason to pop this in hard and try and force it over. Yeah, that's the shot I liked for sure.
Well, the execution was very good because like those corner pockets on the diamond table can be brutal sometimes.
Well, I think he's going to have to play a 2-9 here unless he elects to play safe. The nine's a big, big ball.
Yeah,
so.
for the safety option, the only way he's got is just trying to duck behind the 6.
Yeah, I think the 2-9's going to end up being it, and I think he can beat the side pocket with a follow ball, and he can hit it easy enough. And if he wants to draw to the side rail and put a little more speed on it, I couldn't fault him doing that either. This is where being at the table really helps, knowing the angle. He wants to float this as much as possible. That way the 2 doesn't get away. Yeah, nice shot. Still going to have to probably play a 5-8 combination. He may come for the 5 in the side. Just depends on how he falls on the 3.
Well, this combo is pretty easy.
Yes, it is. Especially with the 6 being right there on the side, because if he makes the 5 also behind the 8, shouldn't be any problem.
Yeah, 5 to 8 is one of those harder to miss than to make.
Right.
Even for the amateur.
Well, and he's gotten perfect to where he can just come to the side rail with a little left spin and come nice and tidy and close to that combination. So most likely, well, he got a little bit of a cut here now. So if he misses the 8 a little bit, meaning still makes the 8 but not quite how he wants, he could have the 5 get away from him.
Well, I guess he's got to find some open space for the cue ball. Not
Yeah,
to
but
be
he's-
covered by the 10, and he's pretty fine.
Yeah, but he's got the angle coming to this rail is my point. So unless he wants to put enough speed on this combination to come to the rail and out, okay, hit it well. So no worries from here. And
Well, 3 balls to make for the win.
yeah, and
To
to
advance to
advance.
the last 16.
Yeah, and we got Ralph Souquet and Ruslan at 5 apiece. So Ralph Souquet really kind of putting the grind on him. So 2 years in a row. Alex Kazakis last year in a much sweeter style, making it to the final, but it's going to be Niels Feijen eliminating him from this tournament. The last 10 conceded. And now Kachi trails after that 7 ball he missed up 5-4. He's lost 3 in a row, trailing 7-5 to David Alcade. Sanchez Ruiz up 7-4.
Well, David Alcade is one of the power guns the European pool scene. The World Pool Masters winner back in the days.
No, I think this year, right?
David is.
Yeah, he won it. That's the one where he made the long rail bank on, well, Alex Kazakis in the final, hill.